Did you know that you and your partner can help yourselves through your trauma together without appearing to be a personal therapist? But before we get into that, give me the three freebies: like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host for the Friend with Fear podcast, The Spencer Perspective, and we have work to do. Let's get to it. Oh, before we even get into discussing the article, I want to make one thing clear. We're not therapists, but for you to not want to hear your partner out from their past, it just reeks of, apathy. It reeks of like being non-empathetic. Empathy goes a long way. We all had our problems in life. And if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, they got to secure you the way you got to secure them. You got me, baby doll?
I got you.
I got my baby doll. So when it goes down to it, you got to be there. You got to be there to fight the good fight. There are certain parts of someone's life that just could be resurfaced sometimes. And you got to be there for them. Let's get into the article. When you commit to a relationship with somebody, you commit to helping them with some form of their physical and emotional burdens. While no romantic partner has to be a personal therapist, you can still offer support and empathy when your partner is struggling. And struggling is what we tend to do in this world. So if your partner is healing from trauma, you have a more difficult job. All right. Now, if someone is actively healing from trauma, they're not ready for a relationship. You shouldn't try to commit to someone who's actively healing from trauma. So let's just put that out there. You can help them through it. You can support them, but you cannot be in a relationship if the trauma will consistently jeopardize said relationship, if that makes sense. You got to help them get through it. And if they can't get through it, don't get yourself in a relationship, no matter how you feel about them. It's just not going to help you. And for damn sure, it's not going to help them. Now, trauma-related conditions and behaviors are hard on everyone, both the person dealing with the trauma and the people around them. Trying to work with traumatic healing together is challenging, but not impossible. Regardless of when your partner experienced their trauma, working through it is a lifelong process. There will be ups and downs, good days and bad days. I want to agree, but at the same time, disagree. So if there's a trauma that's truly lifelong, that person is not healing. They're not. So they got to bottle that shit up in and hold it down. But you got to hold it down with them. They got to realize that you're there to see it through. Your healing should not be a lifelong process. I'm sorry. It may take a long time, sure, but not lifelong. You cannot hold somebody responsible for your trauma for a lifetime. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to them. Look, I have trauma too. I'm not gonna lie. I discussed it with my baby doll. Do I not?
You do.
Say it again.
You do, baby.
Exactly. I discuss it, but I also let her know that it doesn't affect me. This is just something that I need to do for myself. I have to take care of myself. And that's what trauma just means. Sometimes you got to let go to take care of yourself. You have to let go. You cannot hold on. Let go. Now, you cannot hold on to the problems. You let go of the problems. You better hold on to your life and let go of the problems. All right? Now, we're here to help you navigate the process of understanding and helping your partner when they're feeling the effects of their trauma. Does the source of the trauma matter? Many people are unfamiliar with the idea of trauma or trauma-related conditions outside of the world of military veterans. It's a common and harmful misconception you can only have valid PTSD or other types of emotional trauma from serving in the military or working in other dangerous professions. In reality, trauma can stem from anywhere. It can start with childhood neglect or abuse, isolation, a violent event, a death in the family, or anything else that might be upsetting. Something that causes low level of distress for you can be traumatic for someone else. With this in mind, the source of trauma doesn't matter when it comes to how much support your partner needs. It may relate to how they display the symptoms of their trauma, but you shouldn't measure trauma in terms of severity. Exactly. Like, you can't be saying, oh, my trauma is that much more important than yours. It doesn't work that way. You're not in that person's mind. You don't even know how the situation affects them. It could affect them that vastly. Someone can bump their knee and you can get into a car accident. Them bumping their knee could be more traumatic than you being in a car accident, believe it or not. It can work that way. You don't know someone's mentals. You can't measure someone's head, can you? All right. So now, showing empathy. On top of measuring trauma, empathy begins with trying to understand that you might not understand why your partner is traumatized. That's okay. You don't have to be able to put yourself in a position that way. Exactly. You don't have to understand. If they're genuinely traumatized, and for some reason you lack the empathy to just say, I'm here, lean on me, support me, you're with the wrong person. No, they're with the wrong person. If you lack the ability to be there for your partner when there's issues going on with them, get the fuck out of here and get the fuck out the relationship. You don't deserve it. We got to get real about being with someone. They got problems, issues in their head. Sometimes they challenge themselves. Do you have things that crop up in your head every now and then, baby doll?
I do.
Do you discuss them with me?
I do.
If I have issues, do I discuss them with you?
You do.
Open communication. That's what this is about. Open communication is important. Like, to not have somebody be there for you, it's the world's most awful feeling, especially when you thought you could count on them. Can you count on me, baby doll?
100%.
I can count on her as well. You got to be there to fight that good fight. That's what this is all about. It's all parcel and package, right?
Yep.
You better take it all in fact. Like, you want the good with the person, you better be ready for the bad. So when it comes down to it, be ready. Because something's coming down the fucking... if nothing ain't happened now, something's coming down the goddamn wind lane. What's it called? The lane? Some kind of lane. We ain't bowling and shit, but some kind of lane. Pipeline is going down the pipeline. Goddamn. English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? All right. So now let's keep going. That doesn't mean you can diminish your partner's trauma or try to talk them out of it. You need to validate their feelings, even if you don't understand them. Baby, what do I say? I say your input is valid. Do I not say that?
Yes, you do.
Like, no matter if I understand it, I'll let her know that what she's saying is valid. Like, you have to verbalize that. How that person feels is valid. You have to take that shit personal. They're hurting my partner. How can I help my partner get out the hurt? If you're not in it like this intensity, this passion, you and your partner don't have that for each other, you're going nowhere fast. Look, anyone can enjoy the good times, the novelty when things are at the beginning, right?
Yep.
Right? In the beginning, it's so happy and shit. Problems are going to fucking happen. New traumas are going to arise. Like New Edition said, can you stand the rain? I'm standing the rain. I'm standing it. But guess what? What we're building a whole lot of fucking sunshine over here. You feel me? We're building a whole lot of sunshine. So when the rain does happen, we got a whole lot more sunshine to lean on. Where's your sunshine? And forgive me for my, 7 Deadly Sins fans, but you know who Sunshine is and who it belongs to. The Lion Son of Pride, Escanor. That's my guy. That's my fucking guy. But still, before I get off track, I'm too much of a nerd. Before I get off track, trauma's a real thing. Take that shit seriously. Be there for your partner. If someone neglects you, they don't care about you. You do not deal with people that neglect you. That's not a good feeling. Let's finish this rest of this part and I'll have the last word. Now, you should never try to tell your partner that their experience wasn't that bad or that they should try to be more positive and get over it. That lacks so much empathy. It's almost like you're trying to deflect. You're trying to avoid, because sometimes someone else's trauma can activate your own trauma, and that's not a good thing either. But that's what your partner is there for. You got to lean on them. I'm leaning on my baby doll. My baby doll's leaning on me. For the time being, you can call me Tuxedo Mask. All right? Now, this is called toxic positivity, and it's invalidating instead of helpful. Educate yourself on trauma. This allows you to understand some of the reasons that your partner may act the way they do. When someone is acting out as a result of trauma, it can be confusing. When you educate yourself, you can discover how trauma impacts the brain and body so that the concept is less foreign to you. Yeah, it's the fight or flight. But guess what? It's fight or flight in their head. It's not external stimuli, it's internal. You can't see in someone's head. You don't know what the hell is going on. So you got to be there to let your partner know I am here for you. And they have to be ready to accept it. So you have to also recognize triggers. I'll read these last two parts because they're actually kind of important. Recognizing triggers. While it's your partner's responsibility to manage their triggers, you can help by learning them and helping your partner avoid triggering events or situations where they're not in a good place mentally. Baby doll.
Yes.
What was the last game that stressed me out and what happened?
Rocket League. And you had a panic or you hyperventilated.
Yeah. And I actually hyperventilated in real time. I was playing Rocket League and it traumatized me. It's a game, right? Hey, I'm a grown ass man playing a game, but I got traumatized. It happened to me. And this happened literally this week. I actually hyperventilated in real time because I realized that I wasn't having as much fun. I'm really good at the game, but I was playing against people that they wanted to destroy me. I can tell that they wanted to destroy me in the game and just take away the fun of the game from me. And it actually messed me up mentally. I was breathing on the couch. I had to catch my breath because I'm actually really good at the game. So if someone overcome me, they're really good at the game. But then I realized that the person is taking it somewhere else they don't need to be. It's like I'm walking with ants and I can just stomp on them. There's nothing else they can do. I can take away their lives, but they can't take away mine. It's actually a very unfair balance if you think about it. It actually triggered me. That's my trigger from now on. Playing Rocket League 101 is an actual trigger for me now. I can't play it anymore. We banned it. So she recognized that I recognized it too. And I'm using that as an example, but it's a real life example. It may seem small to somebody else. This bitch ass motherfucker talking about a game, he's fucking soft, right? Exactly, right? But at the same time, it affected me in real life. My partner was empathetic. She came to me, she hugged me. She wanted to make sure I was good. She said, breathe, breathe. She took my reaction seriously. She didn't look at me like you was a bitch ass motherfucker. She didn't talk shit to me about it. No, nothing. She held me down. Baby doll, did you hold me down?
Yes, I did.
And that's what this is about. So now, talking with your partner can cue you into what causes them distress. This is also a good time to take notice of how your partner responds to these triggers. Catching early signs of distress allows you to get your partner out of upsetting situations that help them self-soothe when leaving isn't an option. Exactly. So when I play the game, she looks at me now, right? Yeah, she constantly checks my face to make sure like I'm in a good mood because I'm very competitive. I like to win. My gamer's tag is iGetsBusySon. You want to know why? Because I get busy, son. You feel me? So I'm really good at games. It's helped me in life. And when I lose, there are some losses I do not take well, especially if I realize the other person is going hard for no fucking reason. Games are supposed to be fun, and we forget that. The same way life is supposed to be good, and we forget that too. Now, allowing room for bad days. Yeah. You know, you gotta lie. I'm not gonna read this part, it's too long, but I'll leave the link in the low bar so you can read it. But allowing room for bad days. Yeah. There are some days you're gonna get triggered and you gotta let that partner know, like, you know, you gotta accept them with grace. As long as they're not overbearing you, but you gotta be there for them, you know, they gotta be working on it too. If this person is just hitting you emotionally, overcharging you, emotionally unloading on you without trying to work on the process, you are indeed with the wrong person. Look, everyone has trauma. Do you want to be Bane or do you want to be Batman? We were all born in dark days. There's no one that's actually been born in a light day. All right? You're going to get better. I'm getting better. We all have work to do. This is the Firm and Fair Podcast, and I'm out.